Hello and welcome, my friends. My name is Tobal. This is Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, a zombie roguelike survival game. It is incredibly in-depth and incredibly challenging. We are going to die. I guarantee you at some point bad things are going to happen, but our goal is to see how long our character can make it in this world. This is going to be an episode of, the first episode of a longer tutorial and let's play series, so it's a bit of both. If you're only interested in jumping right into the gameplay and you don't want to see the character creation process, there is a link right now below in the comments and in the read more section of this video. You can jump right into the action and see where we're at. Before we do anything, we have to generate a world for our character to live in. So let's go into World, Create World. Now these are the mods that are available. The core pack of the game is Dark Days Ahead. And normally, disable NPC mods is the default choice that's also in there as well. So I've left that in the game. Now, I've also added over a couple mods. So this is sort of, this side is all of the mods that are available. This is actually what's going to be in your world if you save it as it is. So I've added a couple of survival tools, some medieval stuff, craftable guns, things like that. I also have a dino mod, which supposedly adds dinosaurs. I've never actually spotted a dinosaur, so I have no idea if they're in the game or not. I'm sure we'll find them one day when we're feeling very, very comfortable with ourselves. We also have hydroponics, mutant NPCs, folding parts, vehicles, tanks, because to me, you're in a zombie apocalypse, the army would have mobilized, the National Guard would have mobilized to try to defend against the threat. We also have stats through skills, which means as you have certain skill progression, the associated stat will rise. Helps you to kind of raise your base stats up a bit. More classes. I also have prevent zombie revivification, meaning that the zombies will not regenerate if you kill them. And it's kind of a whatever you think, whatever version of zombies you like. So kind of in The Walking Dead, you had to kill them in the head, you had to destroy the head. We'll say that when we kill a zombie, our kill shot is finally destroying the head, not knocking them over. Safe auto dock is something we might get to down the road. Maybe, maybe not. It just depends on what we kind of explore in the world. Anything else we want to add from the available list? Ooh, garden pots. Heck yeah, we want to add garden pots. That's brand new. I'm super excited about garden pots, you guys. Otherwise, it's a couple of extra things that might make the game a bit too overpowered. Mythical martial arts. Oh, I'm also going to add Beta National Guard Camp to the game. This is a actual full-size National Guard camp. Very challenging to get into because it's guarded by robots that are just brutal. They will absolutely destroy us early on. So we're not going to be going in there anytime soon. I can go with a greater than and less than to change these subcategories. So these are kind of a blacklist thing. So for example, if we don't want ants or bees, which I kind of don't want, honestly, I'm okay with the fungal monsters. I almost makes me feel like they were maybe the cause of this apocalypse, but having really weird giant bees and ants all over the place aren't always what I enjoy in the game. So we're going to say that's what we're going to have. The balance mods are kind of things like no filthy clothing, which we can talk about later on, things like that. So I'm pretty happy with the mod list. I'm going to go over to the world options. Now, world end handling means what happens when you die. Do you keep the existing world? Do you reset the world? Do you completely delete it? We're going to keep the world as it is. And my idea is that if we have a character that unfortunately meets an untimely demise, maybe we'll spin up another character in the same world, so we might be familiar with some of the towns, and there might be a chance that we can try to get some of our survivors' goods, although personally I think that's a bit meta. But if in the natural course of exploration, our new character happens to stumble upon a fully stocked bunker, hey, cool, all the better for it. Right, this is the size of cities and how far away cities are from each other. Most of these I keep the same. I'm going to bump down the zombie speed just a notch, because in my mind, zombies are the slow-walking types, right? The kind from World War Z, the book, not the movie. We don't have sprinting zombies because, well, personally, that's absolutely terrifying. I also have static NPCs. I'm also going to choose random NPCs. That's going to add, will randomly spawn NPCs during the game because they've added a lot to the NPC decision-making tree and what you can do with NPCs the developers have. So I'm going to try to test some of those new things out. Let's go back a couple notches. I think I want to save this load order as my default in case I generate a new world. And finally, yeah, this is our world name, Curtisville. You know what? You know what we're going to say? This is actually a state. Let's say that this is good old Michigan, home of my homes. We're going to say this is the world of Michigan. This is the state of Michigan, and we're going to be seeing all these different cities inside. Let's go into custom character generation now. So there's these different pools that you can generate a character from. It's almost like if you're familiar with D&D, there's a point buy system, There's certain, you might have to roll dice to find your character. You know, for me, I normally just use the multiple pools. It makes a lot of sense to me. Freeform, you can actually choose anything you want and never hit any kind of a point cap. So if you want to make it a completely OP character to test with, you'll want to choose Freeform. We're going to use multiple pools so that we can have a bit of a challenge in our gameplay, right? And all these pools represent one of these types of tabs. So our scenario affects where you start and what your starting profession and if there is any kind of special consideration. So for example, this really bad day earns us a bunch of points here, which we can use towards skill points or something like that at the end. But we start out as either a tweaker or, I think, in the shower, naked. We're basically in a towel only. We're infected, we're drunk, we're sick, and there's a fire in our building. So a really, really challenging start. I think we're going to go down this route and take a look at some of these other types of scenarios. So Prison Break, you actually start in a prison. Sheltered, I believe you actually go into a pretty generic shelter. You start in the winter, though. So you had enough supplies to make it through the winter. But to me, that's a little bit too easy. I like to start inside of the city and have to fight our way out. We had the last gig, which is like either another job, whether it was like you're basically a starting criminal kind of a thing. I kind of like just being missed. So there's a massive evacuation. Maybe you were just absolutely hammered. You went out to a party, you came home, you passed out, a massive infection swept the town, and you happened to miss the evacuation out of town. So you're still in the city, full of the risen dead. All this is a very neutral start. You don't get any points from it. You can pretty much pick any profession you want. You just happen to be in the town. Now, there's also things like a school. One of the other ones I like is the last firefighter. You start inside of a fire station. Prison Break is very challenging. The helicopter crash, you start out bleeding a little bit, but you might be able to start with some good gear. I wouldn't mind that one, but I think I like the challenge of starting inside of a city. So we're going to select Mist as our starting scenario. Now, in terms of our profession, what do we want to be? There's so many options here, and even when you pick the mod that adds more classes and scenarios, you're going to get even more types of professions. And the professions let you choose what they already have some skills. You know, some of them have some skills and some traits that come along with them. So these are kind of the easier starts. You're just, you're a priest, you're a rabbi, you're a convict, things like that. But if we go on the other end of it, you're a bionic gangster, right? It costs you a bunch of points to pick this, but you start out with a bunch of skills, a ton of bionic implants in the game, things like that. There's also like a black belt. You're an 8 in all of your martial arts skills. So you can mess around and try to find the profession that works for you. Now, again, these all cost things, so it is kind of balanced out to me. So it's not the worst thing in the world to pick a profession and just take everything you want right out of the gate. We're going to go ahead and choose. I believe what I'd like to start out with is National Guard. It's one of my favorite types of starts, because you start the game with a big old rucksack. There it is right here. Not Paperboy, but National Guard. You start out with a go bag, rather. Sorry, go bag is a really giant bag that we can stuff all your stuff into, all your military gear. You also start out with that go bag full of clothing and supply. Well, not supplies so much, but more so clothing. So we're going to start out as a National Guardsman who missed the evacuation order, or maybe the mobilization order. So you're stuck at home. It's going to cost us 3 points from our starting pool here. Here's where we start developing the character behind our character, right? You're starting to add the traits, the personality, the different things that make up. In this case, I think I want to say Sarah Smith, or Sarah Brown. Sarah Brown, there we go. Sarah Brown is a National Guards person. She just joined the National Guard, came out of basic training. She's in her first weekend call-up. She came home. She passed out after going on a bit of a recovery bender celebration with her friends, and she missed this horrible evacuation and also kind of a mobilization request. So she's sitting at home with her go bag. She's ready to go. Bit of a hangover, maybe. It's kind of wearing off. Now she has a bit of a weak stomach. So she, we'll say that her digestive system is a bit sensitive. So we'll say that she's also lactose intolerant. She's a bit of a lightweight, so she doesn't really do good with alcohol or drugs. And she has a bit of an addictive personality. So that kind of all kind of gels together as kind of a background, right? We're also going to say she believes in telling the truth. She was raised in a home where everyone always came together to the table to, at the end of the day to talk about how things are going. So her mom, her dad, her brothers and sisters were there. So she really prefers eating at the table. I think this is an awesome trait that they recently added. We're also going to say that Sarah needs to have glasses to see. She is a heavy sleeper. I'm also going to say she's a slow healer. That's not really something that's going to be really horrible for us, because for the most part, if you are asleep at night, you're going to recover a lot of damage anyways. So slow healer is one of those kind of a free and easy negative trait. Now you'll see we have a bunch more endpoints here. What this is doing is they're kind of working with and against each other. So the negative traits adds points to the second value, and the good traits will start reducing that value. So we're going to take a couple of things here, and I prefer to always have some sort of martial arts because it's just super fun. Martial arts in this game are really, really enjoyable. Now, we may not start out with much skill in them, but because we know the martial art, as we develop and practice by smashing people, we're going to get better at it. There's also melee weapon training where you can take skills in Eskrima, medieval swordsmanship, or is it Nitin Ichi Ryu? I'm sure I pronounced it incorrectly, but that is kind of the swords play of samurai. So you're really good with katanas, naganatas, things like that. So between martial arts, we have martial arts, self-defense, and Shaolin Adept. I love taking skills that stack with your stats. So I'm going to take Zui Quan, because Zui Quan lets you have your intelligence as a bonus to your dodge. And I really like the ability to dodge attacks. Not that really kicks in early game, but later in the game you can become nigh on invincible by dodging a ton of attacks. So self-defense class, that's going to cost us a couple of points. We're going to say that Sarah is a fast reader. She is also fleet-footed. She's very light on her feet because she does take martial arts classes. She's also a bit of a light eater, so she doesn't really require as much food as most. She's a bit maybe smaller. We'll say that she also has really excellent vision at night. And what else do we want to have here? There's a ton of great options. I like maxing out my traits because traits will last the entire game. While stats can be learned or skills can be learned or forgotten over time, traits will stick with you for the entire game. So a lot of these can be very, very strong. Fast learner is about how quickly you pick up on something as you're using it, which wouldn't really be bad. Fast learner would be really good for martial arts. Do we want to take anything else in its place? The infection resistance might be nice, but I'm going to say that let's be smart and try to get some antibiotics right out of the gate. I think that's what we're going to go with. So we are basically a very nimble, smaller person with great night vision. There's a bunch of negatives here that kind of even everything out. You can even choose a bit of how they look, which is something relatively new. We'll say that Sarah is a bit light in skin tone, and she's got herself a short haircut, a short brown hair. Her stats are going to be pulled from this first column, so we're going to give her a bit of strength because she's just gone through basic training. She's a bit stronger than she used to be. She also practices martial arts, and she's very, very intelligent. So she has a lot of intelligence score. You can see here that we actually put this number, which says 2. So in theory, we should be able to pick 2 things. It's actually kind of part of a larger complex equation. So if we take 2, we're going to reduce our final number to a -1. So I'll just take, we'll do this. We'll do 9 and 12. I really like having that intelligence bonus. So 9 strength, 12 intelligence, the rest dex and perception are both on 8. Unfortunately, we have no room for skills, so all Sarah can do is shoot and patch herself up right off the bat. We're going to have to get a lot of our knowledge from books. So doing a book run is going to be a bit of an important thing. Let's go ahead and do exclamation point to save our character. And we'll say that this is Sarah Brown. Welcome, Sarah Brown. We'll press @ symbol to change the gender. And yeah, here we go. We're ready to rock out. Our National Guards person missed in the evacuation. We're ready to start. When we start the game, it's going to ask us which style of martial arts of our chosen tree are we going to pick. So Zui Quan gives you a passive dodge bonus based on your intelligence. Also, the turn after you attack, you may dodge any number of attacks with no penalty, and successfully dodging an attack gives you a bonus damage and to hit based on your intelligence. So a very mobile type of martial art. All right, welcome to Cataclysm. This is the game map. This is what it looks like. It's a bit crazy right off the bat. So I'm going to press Z to zoom ourselves in a bit. You can see that there's someone right next to us. It looks like they've got a log with some nails in it. Let's see. Let's do X and then northwest. This is Tatiana Denton. So Tatiana is a NPC that's right next to us because we do have NPC spawns on. On the right side of the screen is a bunch of information that we're going to start covering as we go. But if I hit the right bracket, you can see that it's got a bunch of information about limb damage or strength, movement information, how much sound we're making, our stamina, different things like that that kind of all make sense. So I will cover these as we get to them. If I press I, we are currently carrying a cell phone and our go bag along with some basic clothing here. So what we're going to do first is maybe chat up our friend Tatiana here. I'm guessing we know them a little bit. So they are infected and they have a starting quest for us. So some NPCs will have a quest for you at the start. Some of them will just start saying, hey, at least we're not dead. You know, you can try to coerce them or have them follow you or work with you. Now, there's actually a really in-depth system with NPCs that I haven't explored yet. So I'd like to try that out in this Let's Play. So Tatiana is infected. She says this infection is really bad. What's the matter? I'm infected badly. I need to get some I need you to get me some antibiotics. So I'm going to say I'll do it because we're a National Guards person. We're very active and want to help people. So not a problem. Hey, do you have any equipment you can share? Why should I share equipment? Well, because we're trying to make you not die. Hey, she's going to give us a bottle of disinfectant, which is actually really great to have right off the bat. Now, she can't use the disinfectant. She actually has to have the antibiotic for her to lose the infection. So we have accepted this quest. It is in our Shift M, the active quest log. We have 1 year, or sorry, 5 weeks to have antibiotics here for Tatiana. I don't know if we're ever going to get any antibiotics or not, but hey, I figured why not go ahead and try to at least help her out a bit. Let's move further into the house. I want to move maybe towards one of the back rooms here. And what we can do is disassemble. This is the left parentheses. We're going to disassemble our go bag, and it's going to drop pretty much all the stuff right on the ground at our feet. The game will interrupt you and tell you that you're hearing noises sometimes. So you have the option to kind of stop what you're doing if there's a lot of noises. But we're going to say we're going to ignore the sound and get everything in one big pile. So here's everything on the ground. We're going to try to put on a bunch of clothes first before we try to get too much else. So I'm going to do Shift W, and the cool thing about wearing clothes is you don't have to have it in your inventory to wear it. You can basically choose to try to wear it from a tile next to you. So let's go ahead and put on our helmet, jacket, and pants right off the bat, even though they're a poor fit, which kind of stinks, but hey, that's an army issue for you. So having a poor fit will increase the encumbrance of your clothing, and we'll talk about this screen here in just a little bit. We're going to wear the duffel bag because that's going to give us 30 units of storage. I think it's L for liters. Oh, someone's actually breaking through the window here, so you might have to speed things up just a bit. Let's grab the, we'll wear the chest rig, a couple other things here. We can actually start grabbing, but we might have to fight our zombie friend in order to get them. Let's try to pick up a couple things here. See how close he gets. Because we got a little bit closer. I think I can't move because safe mode was on. Safe mode will prevent you from moving when there is a threat nearby, especially helpful for when you're traveling long distances on foot and you don't run yourself into an accidental horde. Now, we have no weapons on us. We have a pocket knife, but I don't think that's going to do too much. Now, we do have some skill in Zui Quan. The problem is we're not really skilled yet. So I think what I'll try to do is lead our zombie friend here. This giant Z, by the way, is not how zombies always look. There are actual drawn sprites of them. This particular model is a brainless zombie that has no skull or features. So it kind of just wanders around a bit and kind of generally senses you. I'm going to try to bait this zombie over to our NPC friend and let them take a crack at it. So they're going to fight each other a bit. I'm going to wait to see which one lives and which one dies. You know, I don't really mind too much. I'm not all that invested in Tatiana yet. But hey, if she helps us out and kills this zombie, I will be ever grateful. There we go. She just crushed it to death. Let's also grab this tin can of tuna. What else is in the fridge here? Insta salad, some bacon. Hey, we'll grab a bunch of stuff while we're here. There is a pan in the oven. We'll take the frying pan here. Glass cup, steak knife, things like that. So let's get, what is this down here? Charcoal smoker. Ooh, that'd be really, really great. I don't think we're going to be able to carry it long term, but it does help you preserve food. So we're going to take the smarkle? Yeah, charcoal smoker. Words are hard. Giant explosion to the south, which could be a minefield or it could be a turret. Let's go ahead and pick up the rest of this stuff and try to get out of here if we can. I'm going to go ahead and ignore a lot of these sound effects. Unless we happen to see a zombie walk right in here, I'm not going to be too worried about it. There's a couple of shorts here in these different dressers. Some clothing that may or may not be useful. We'll take the leg warmers. But yeah, by and large, I think we're pretty much ready to go. What did this zombie have on them? They had a lighter, which we'll take. Now, the brown clothing means the clothing is filthy. Your character will not enjoy wearing filthy clothing. So if it's brown, they just don't like it. Ooh, duct tape. Ooh, rollerblades. Rollerblades are so awesome. I'll talk about rollerblades here in just a second. Your character needs clean clothes for them to be happier. So if we try to take, say, this undershirt, and we wear this nasty, filthy undershirt. Let's take a look at our morale now. Nothing is affecting our morale. If we wear this undershirt, we have a -6 to our morale. So the more filthy, zombie-ridden clothing you're wearing, the more unhappy your character will get. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off my tennis shoes, just capital T. Let's remove our tennis shoes here. I'm going to wear the rollerblades. And the rollerblades are really, really fun because rollerblades will reduce the cost of your movement per tile. So it basically doubles your movement speed. However, when you're in grass and not pavement, it'll slow you down by a lot more. So it's a bit of a trade-off. So pressing M, let's take a look at the, looks like there's 2 towns here. There's Newburgh and there's Pulteney. And we are kind of in a spot between both towns. Now, our friend here, Tatiana, is a bit ill. And she said she needed antibiotics. Now, each of these symbols represents a type of building. So, for example, the pink C is a cathedral, right? These P's over here are all part of a prison. So we're looking for something maybe like a veterinarian clinic. Obviously, a doctor's office would be really, really great, but I don't see the symbol for it. But keep in mind, you know, not everyone, not just a doctor's office will have things like antibiotics. It also might be a veterinarian clinic, things like that, a drugstore. So there's tons of options, but each of these areas will have more and more zombies, so we have to be a little bit cautious. I think the best route might be to try to head up north into the smaller town of Newburgh rather than get really deep into Pulteney, especially because it's about 8 a.m., so it's going to be very lively, I should say. All right, so we pretty much explored this house to the point that I'd like. Let's, no useful book. We're going to step outside here and see. Yeah, so here we go. This is the first, oh God, there's a queen here? What in the world? This is the first look we've had about our town. And now, at a glance, this is a mini-map. And it's telling you, in certain directions, what kind of creatures are where. So right to the east, we see that there's a blue Z and a light blue Z. We don't see what's in the key, but it's just telling you at a glance what is where. All the little dots here represent the creatures as well. So I'm going to press X. I've never seen a Triffid Queen before. That's something that's brand new. The Triffid Queen, a ponderous and particularly arborescent Triffid. It is arborescent. It has enormous red petals surrounded by a haze of spores. I don't know a lot about the fungal creatures of the game, but I'm pretty sure they're absolutely lethal if you breathe any of them in. So we're going to skedaddle away from our good friend, the Triffid here, and check out this vehicle that's just sitting in the middle of a road. So I just pressed E here and then looked at the vehicle and did examine. Each of these tiles represents a top-down view of a vehicle. So each tile here represents a certain item. So this tile here, which is a solar panel, represents this tile right here. And it lets you, I mean, the vehicle system here is so very in-depth. You're able to repair, remove parts. You can install things on a vehicle. You can install like bulletproof steel plating on a vehicle. You can stick a turret chassis on here. There are tons of things you can do with vehicles in this game. So it's a huge possibility. I would love to have an RV one day and just make it like a completely self-sustained mobile base. There's a 4x4 here which has a full battery and wheels, but not any fuel. So I'm guessing the tank is completely empty. So I'm pretty much going to bounce between different houses here as we start out the game. Ooh, explosion to the southwest. I don't know what that was caused by, but we'll stick away from the southwest for the moment. So at the start of the game, what I like to do is bounce through a few houses. So I'm looking for medical equipment here. So here we go, some cough syrup, some bandages. I also try to find any useful books. So like Ham Radio Illustrated. Books are how you can read to get skills. I'll also pretty much pick up any snacks that are appropriate to my character. So remember, Sarah can't, she's lactose intolerant, so cheeses here wouldn't be great for us to have. We've got 2 frying pans. There are some wrapper of hard cheeses there that we're not going to bother taking. Looks like a zombie right with, oh, under the hood. I want that book. So I'm going to climb up on the counter, smash through the window, smash through the bedroom window, and pick up Under the Hood. Under the Hood is a book that can teach you a lot of mechanic skill. And mechanic skill is what you need to do a lot of work on vehicles. So pretty helpful to have early on. Water faucet, copper tubing. Looks like the sink got destroyed here at some point. Not too much else. When you're in a vehicle, by the way, you can go ahead and try to open a window by just moving on it. Oh no, Tatiana is getting super destroyed here. She's way down south. It looks like she got surrounded by a bunch of zombies. I think Tatiana just ate it, you guys. Let's see. Is there a log? If I do a question mark here and type log, view message log. Oh no, Tatiana Denton has died. So therefore, our quest for her is no longer. Well, fair enough. Tatiana, we knew you for a short amount of time. We're not sure why you were in our house, but you were. So, such is life. Continuing to move through some houses here. All I'm going to do is just get some early level goodies. A flare is useful. Oh wow, we're already out of space. Probably because I've got a ton of clothing. And also I'm carrying a giant freaking charcoal smoker. So I'm probably going to drop that off in favor of something else down the road. I can go downstairs here, but because there's zombies right above me or right next to me, I don't really want to put myself in a position where I might get trapped. You know, I don't actually know what's in a cathedral. I'm assuming there's not a lot of awesome supplies. Stupid child just blinded us. So I just changed into sprinting mode. So I was walking, and I changed quotation mark to go into sprinting. I also forgot that I'm wearing rollerblades, so I'm very slow in the grass, but look how fast I am. My movement cost is 29 per tile. So I think a generic regular person walking would be 100. So we're very, very fast. We're almost 4 times as fast on sure footing. So super helpful to escape your foes. I don't really think there's going to be anything useful in a church. Windbreaker, skinny tie. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have like MREs or anything here. What's in the basement? Is this a crypt? There's a zombie in the way to our south, so we're not going to go downstairs because there's a zombie that's right there waiting for us. Let's keep skating around. I'm going to keep pushing to the north of the town, looking for buildings that I might run into real quick. Here's a diner, it looks like. A restaurant. So we'll smash through the window, pop the bar, and what we're looking for is just general food that we can take with us, right? So anything that's not spoiled, not a cheese. French fries. Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to have to drop something because we're really, really heavy. I have a ton of clothing here. Oh, I'm not wearing the backpack. Let's wear the backpack because I think that's going to help us add a bit more storage to our character. Yep, so we even have even more volume now. Now, we're not at all in any position to get in a fight, but that's okay. We'll just try to avoid fighting at this point. Last jar of pickles. Heck yeah, why not? Knit hat and a jean jacket. Okay, that's all we need from the restaurant. We're going to have to get back out of here, hopefully without... you know what? I might go back over the railing. And is this a back door? No. Have to go out the main door here. Okay, cool. That's all we need to do here. I think I'm going to try to push forward onto the road going north. Is this a random house? This is someone's house. Let's check the basement out real quick. So there's different styles of basements in all of these homes. Not all of them will have a basement. There's a couple of styles of basements that are really, really helpful. One is kind of a, I would say, it's more of a military basement. It's got a ton of different weapons and ammo and attachments. The other style is kind of like a prepper basement, right? They've got a bunch of, I think they've got a charcoal smoker or a furnace downstairs. They also have sometimes tinned food around. So pretty helpful if you're able to find that building early on. It does act as a really great base as well. The fireman, there's a fire coat there, a turnout coat it looks like. Let's go ahead and sprint. We're going to skate through these zombies. There's a turnout coat, which I don't think I'm going to take. You can close doors, and closing doors will keep zombies, pretty much out of your way. They're not able to open doors like you are, so pretty easy to keep them at bay just by going through a house. Hacksaw. Hacksaw might be pretty useful. Let's grab the hacksaw. Shift V is telling me what is in my vicinity. What I can see around me is with Shift V. You can look for monsters as well as different items. So nothing else that I want to carry around with me. I mean, some of those items are useful, but at the moment, not all of them are going to be what we want right now. Okay, let's zoom out a bit. We've got a bit of another horde here as we start to move north into Newburgh. There's a vehicle right here. Looks like an SUV of some sort. SUV with enough... Okay, this might be a better one. There's a faulty engine. It has enough wheels to drive. It has gasoline and it has a battery. And all of its controls are in good shape. The problem is that the engine is a bit faulty. So let's try to jump in. I'm going to use the Shift 6 or caret symbol to try to to turn on the vehicle. So it fails to start. I'm going to do it a couple times. Fails to start. Makes a bang as it starts up. Fails to start. Fails to start. Okay, so that's enough times for me. All these other zombies are getting relatively close. The exclamation point is telling us that there's something in this tile other than what you're seeing. So if we look, we do get items. There's a flashlight here, and there's a lighter under RC, which we'll take. Just in time to get out of the vehicle and skate away down the road. So you don't want to spend a ton of time with vehicles early on if you can find a vehicle that is in good shape. Well, here we go. Here's a Beetle that has gasoline, a working engine and tank, and it has enough wheels. So we should be able to get in this one and drive if we can hotwire it. Or if there are keys here. Shoot, did it not have what I needed? Oh no, the controls are missing. The controls are completely gone, meaning there's no way to turn the car on and steer it. So that's a bit of a bummer. Is this a fox trapped in here? Okay, there's a random fox trapped in. Let's go ahead and smash through some windows and see if we can't make a run in this restaurant. Especially liquids early on are really helpful too. So getting a source of water is going to be very, very important.